Alright guys, so a little bit about me. Want to be game dev, been doing game coding now for about 6 or 12 months, but big in the modding community. Well, I grew up in the modding community, I should say. I've modded Imperial and Galactic Survival, Command and Conquer, all sorts of games. But what we're doing today is we're actually going to go through and we're going to make a task where the NPCs will actually find a free seat that's available. Now the reason why we're doing this is obviously for AI, for NPCs. But so what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll save it, and then I'll explain it, and then we will just jump straight into it. Now, before we start with this, there will be technically a bug. This will not be the complete steps. This is just them locating and finding the seat. We then also have to do the one with animations and sitting and everything like that. And also, to be honest, there is an issue with this that I am trying to resolve. But this is a good start. And the workaround or the add-on that I'm doing or that I'm trying to work on at the moment can be built on top of this. So I'll go through, I'll explain what the issue is, and then we'll go through and we'll do the first part of it, but this is going to be a multi-part sort of video. So let's jump straight into it. Now, obviously at the end of the day, I have the starter content added. If you do need to do it, you go add, import starter content. Sorry, I always do the wrong one. Add or feature, content, starter content, add to project, and then I'll add it to the project. Right. What we're doing here is we've got props. So this gives us like seats and chairs and couches and stuff like that for the starter content. What we want to do is we want to go through and we want to make a blueprint of the chair. Now obviously the game that I'm basing it on is around the 1680s. The chair mesh will change, but we're just going through, and obviously that's stuff that we can change later, right? So we just go blueprint, actor, we'll call it BP chair, enter, go into it in here, and we want to go in and go to that. Chair, go add static mesh, and we want to call it, say, chair. Right, and then we click on this and go SM chair. Boom. Oh, that's new. Let me try that again. Okay, I had no idea what that was. Alright. So there's our chair, and it's basically in the world, and we just click component, we click save. Maybe it's going to be, no, I don't know what that error came up. Right, we do also need to add a variable, and we also do need to add two functions. So we'll add, add two functions over here, and we'll also add a variable, and we're going to call it isEmpty. Sorry, it's just double checking something. Right, so it's actually called isOccupied. Sorry, my bad. So we're going to call it isOccupied. And we just post that. It's a boolean. And default value is false. And then is occupied chair is one feature, or one of it, sorry. So we call it occupied chair, and the other is free chair. And we just go through and we click that there. And basically with free chair, we just want to set that, set there to there, and this is free, yes, a set of occupied is false. Occupied chair, we come over here, we want to do is occupied, we want to set that, there, it goes to there, is occupied is there, compile, and then we can close those two. Here we probably want to make it public. And then if we go through and we put a chair in the world like that, and is occupied, is not at the moment, so yeah, that's fine, because obviously it's not occupied, right? Now we could probably go through and test it later if like someone's sitting in it. If it changes, we'll check that. Alright, that'll be like part 2 or 3 of this video, but now obviously also keep in mind too, multiplayer, you will have to replicate it, blah blah blah. I am making a multiplayer game, so that is something I will have to do. If you go into the sorry, it's this one here, right? Is it rep notify? Other prediction. Public and edible. Yep, is open. Instance edible. Yes. Exposed to cinematics. We'll probably want. Replication none unless used, and then we use rep notify. So rep notify. And save. Alright. Then we want to go through. And let me see if I can find. So we want to go back to our find seat. And because I'm sick of typing things, just copy and oops, paste. Now we will have to make this a lot bigger. It's going to be a pretty, it looks complicated, but once you sort of work out the sort of basics, it's pretty easy. So the first thing we want to do, right, is go through here and we want to get actor of class, and because we made it a blueprint, so we go blueprint chair, right, and then we want to go through and we want to get actor. I'll get all actors, sorry, of class. Sorry, my bad. And then we want to make this is blueprint chair, like that. And then here we want to do a actually. Where's my screenshot? Where's my notes? Here we go. So, yeah, I thought there was something else. So we also want to go through and we want to add 3 variables here. Right, and the first one is we want to name this, and we name this closest chair, and this is a blueprint chair. This we want to change this to closest distance. And we want to make that a float. And then the third option is we want to go through and we want to make this a vector selector. And we'll go through and we want to call this a blackboard. key selector. I don't really like the name vector selector. We might change that later, but yeah, you get the idea at the moment, right? Now what we want to do is we want to go through and we want to set that, and we want to set that. So that there, and those go like that. The distance, we're just going to put something like 9,000. And obviously we don't want anything for the chair to be set. Try to keep it as close as we can. And then obviously after this is then we do the for loop, but we're actually going to drag it off the actor. For loop, for each loop. Go up here, drag that out, and then to put in 2 dB whackers, like that. We want to cue them, and then we want to boost them up. Right. Then after here, we want to put it in a break. So you just drag out the mouse and press B for break. And then after that, we want to go through and we want to set the distance, if it's true. And we also want to go through and set the closest chair as well, and drag that out from there like that. Now that actually goes from the loop to the closest chair. Put in 2 dB dackers again. That, highlight them, cue, move them up because we want to make it look pretty because I'm autistic. And right. And then from here also we want to drag this out, and we want to get distance 2. We'll drag it over here and we'll plug that into the closest distance. So that basically sets the distance and the closest chair, and basically keeps it all neat and tidy. Now, obviously from here, we do need to go through and set this branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this, we're going to drag out the element again. And we're going to do is occupied. So we get is occupied like that. We put that there. You see little dots because it's now replicated. And we go not Boolean because we want to find the ones that aren't replicated, that aren't occupied, and then we drag that into there. Now we also, the distance, we also do need to also drag that out from our prawn from here over to the distance, and then we can put into dB whackers over here as well. So that one and that one, and we cue them, and oops, that one we can put like there, and this one we will put like there. And what we do actually, put them like that. All right. So we've gone through. We've done that. Right. So after the completed, we want to drag that out, and oops, sorry, actually no. We'll drag it out from the element because that way we always make sure we've got in the right one. We go is valid with the question mark, bump like that, and we put that there, and we go from completed to is valid. Now we also want to drag out from here again, and we want to get actor location, and we want to drag this out again, and we also want to get actor I'm trying to read the image, but I can't. Here it is. This is better. Get actor forward. That's it. Sorry, forward location. Get actor forward vector like that, and we put that there like that, and that goes like that. Now, from is valid, we want to drag that out, and we want to set blackboard value as a vector because it's going to be literally a vector. We're going to save this as the point of interest because let's face it, if he's going on his way to a seat, then at the end of the day, it's a point of interest, right? And we're going to drag the vector selector from there over to here. Once again, still don't know if I like that name. Put that there like that. You're probably wondering why we're doing this. So the actor location, we could just simply plug that into there. Here's the problem. That will then make you go through and sit in this, or stand in the chair, right? So we don't necessarily, well, not even that, but it'll try and get towards the center of the chair. We don't want that. We want him standing at the front of the chair, and this is where part 2 of the video and part 3 is going to come into it, right? I do have an idea of how to fix this, but for the moment, just to get this thing working, we're going to drag off here. We're going to go times. Sorry. We're going to drag this off from here. We go multiply. Try it again. Off here, go multiply like this. That to that, and that, and that. And we're going to go through and we're going to set this to 100. Let's move this out a little bit more. And move that like that. And then this here goes as a plus. We want to control, drag that down to there, get that, go to there, like that, and that's there. So that and that, we queue it, and then we plug that into there like that. Right, and we'll drag that out a little bit more. Now, so here is where the Phoenix execute actually goes, and then we want to duplicate it again. Excuse me. Excuse me. And we'll put that one down here, and we're just going to turn off success because it failed, and drag that into there. And then that, and we queue that, and then this, and we will drag this one over here like this, and move those up like that. Right, because it fails, guess what? We don't want him sitting there constantly trying to get into the seat if there isn't any. Right, there's no seat, he can't do it. Now, we also can go through and, so here, and we'll go a print string, move that like here, and we're just going to put in here something like no chairs found. Right, save like that, and that looks like pretty much it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Looks about right. Looks about right. Alright, we got one coming out of there, one coming out of there. Right, okay. Save. Let's go into here. This is our passive tree. We're basically going to go through and disable our random roam, and we will drag it down here, and we will get find free seat. Right. One thing we do need to turn on the eye to make it publicly visible. Save it again, compile and save. I forgot to do that. And over here, we want to set that as, not a state, sorry, as a point of interest. Save. Right now, if he's going to try and attack us because, well, he's a skeleton monster. So let's fix that to just fixing that temporarily. behavior tree. Sorry, that's the subtree. Undid. Scotland, here he is. And we will turn off his psychotic killing behavior and his investigate and save. So now he should go and sit in the seat. Well, he won't actually sit in that because we haven't put the move to, but yeah. So you can see there the point of interest is listed. So if we go to the seat here thing, so we go through and we discontinue that, and we will put this over here like this, and we go sequence, sorry, down, like that, and then move to, and the point of interest. Now you should move to our seat. Okay, he's not moving. Oh, hang on, I think I know what it is. Is it the bloody... okay. Go play. Yep, okay. So the reason why this happens here is because of collision mesh. So if we go and we look at the seat, it's got a pretty big collision mesh around it. So if we change this to collision, sorry, you want to go into here, sorry, to collision. Collision and no collision. Save, and now if we go here, he should be moving towards it. Yep. Now, see how he's gone inside it? Kinky, I know. So, reason why, that's why he didn't move there in the first place, because of that like constant sort of fighting with the collision mesh. He's like, yes, I can see a seat. No, I can't sit there because someone's put a collision mesh on it. Let's move this over here. Alright, the reason why is because the offset didn't work. Now, what we can do is we can drag that off to a, convert that to a float, and say 50. We're going to go back into our chair. We obviously we want collision, right? Because, well, yeah. But we don't want the camera to do it. Probably all at the moment. So now he's standing in front of it, right? Which is good. Now, here's the problem, right? We could even actually bump that up, actually. So instead of 50, let's say 100. I think 100 was too much. And by the way, he really does like it. Like, God, he moves fast. It's probably going to be about 75 to 100, right? But yeah, you get the idea. Now, here's the problem, right? Is, say we're a bunch of meanies, and we go through and we delete the chair. Actually, we'll do that second, because if we go through now and we rotate the chair to something like that, save, and we go in here, he is still, actually, it is working, actually, technically. Okay, that's cool. Sometimes he won't actually stand in front of it. What I was thinking about doing was putting a marker in front of it and then making it so that he goes to the marker. But this does seem to be working sometimes. But if we go through and be a meanie and say we delete the chair, and then we got no chairs found up the top. Right. And if we go Shift F1 and we have a look, he's obviously got no patrol states. But so if we go through and we we get this and we move, we get this, we get stop. If we get this, and we put this over here, and then do this, and then plug in the random roam, and we go that. We have no chairs found up the top because he's obviously trying to get to a chair, and now he's just going to do his random roam thing. And if we go F1, and here we can see, by the way, that 10 seconds is way too long, but you can see he's just doing his random roam thing. So, and then if we put the chair back in, and let's sort of like really make it hard for him. Let's turn it around. See, this is the problem, because it's not exactly going to the front vector for some reason. So, but yeah. Ideally, I'd like to be able to check the whole occupied thing, but that is something else. At the moment, it's not. What if we tick that? Is that? How does that go? He still goes to it. Okay, that's a bug. Chair, save. I think it's because all this should be coming from here. Let's see if that works. No chairs found. There we go. Fixed it. And he's going to do his random roam thing. Now if we go back in here and we turn off the occupation again and we go back in, he should now be sitting at the chair or standing at the chair. There we go. Now obviously the next part of this will be us going through and basically going through and having it so that he sits down at the chair. And before that, I do want to have a look at this whole him standing in front. He's sort of there, but yeah, have a look at that sort of standing in front of the chair a little bit better. What I was thinking was basically putting it so that the chairs have like a marker in the blueprint, and instead of actually going to the offset, he would actually go to the marker. And that way you could move the marker around as well if you wanted to, so that you could go through and have it so that he could, like for example, say he's at a bar. Also, one thing I was thinking about doing to improve this too was actually having it so that instead of it uses the chair here, instead of using the class for chair, it goes through and it uses tags. And you could go through and, for example, if we put in a tag, you could go through and add a tag, and you could put, for example, sittable. And what it'll do is it'll go through and check to see if there's a tag for sittable. And if it does, then it will go through and actually bring up the chair. And that way it's not relying on just the blueprint chairs. For example, if you were to go through and also put in a couch, for example, you'd then also be able to want to go through and also make it so that is actually also sittable as well. That's obviously a static mesh, it's not a blueprint. So that was the idea with that. But that's something I will cover in this video. This video is already approaching on half an hour. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Also keep in mind too, this thing, it can be different. For example, beds. You could go through, you could have it sort of sittable and sleepable if you use the tag system. So at the end of the day, that would be a far better way of doing it than what I've done here. This is obviously just to get it up and running, and now obviously we can go through and we can now fine tune it. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously the video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, welcome and my first tutorial on how to make a task. But after this, we have a whole bunch of tasks that we need to make. So, for example, I just didn't flash anything from my game that's vastly important. No, I did not. Thank you. So, like, for example, here, we go through and sitting behavior. But for example, we're going through and we're talking about, like, I'm going with chat and we're talking about like how to go through and I think it was a sleep schedule. We're talking about setting that up and also doing like things like planting crops, watering fields, harvesting, feeding livestock, stuff like that. So we're going to go through and make a lot of these tasks in the future. Selling fish at the market, interacting with customers, interacting with NPCs, stuff like that. So I might even have a look at that mod that allows you to go through and have interaction with the NPCs through the audio. But yeah, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. The video's been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.